Well, just make sure that they've gotten all of the tax documents. I mean, the unemployment, if they've received any unemployment compensation, that's going to be considered taxable income. Well, as we were discussing earlier, if they have not received their pandemic, advance or the stimulus checks, those can be included on this tax return also, not as income, but as a tax credit to receive back at that time. So make sure that you've gotten all your documents. Like I say, don't overlook if you have received unemployment, because you don't want to come a year or two down the line and, oh, we have underreported income and have to pay the IRS back some income that we weren't looking at. Some good answers. It's good information. Bill Clark from Tax Pro. We appreciate your time, and stick around, folks, because Bill will be joining us again in our next half hour to answer more of your questions. Bill, thank you so much. Thank you. You bet. All right, still to come this noon, a new restaurant in one local community and two companies planning to make big changes, how it could impact you. That and more when we come back.
Chris 6 News at noon continues.
Certainly does. Welcome back. The pandemic has changed a lot, but it's not stopping Bill Miller Barbecue from expanding. The restaurant opened at 6 in the morning in Portland today. It's the first Bill Miller in that area. Right now, the restaurant operates 76 restaurants in the San Antonio, Corpus Christi, and Austin markets. This latest restaurant, over at 3110 US 181, open every day from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Looking for a job? Well, if so, Lowe's has made an announcement that they plan to hire 50,000 new employees ahead of the spring rush. 50,000. They'll be hiring full-time, part-time, as well as seasonal workers. You can learn more about this hiring event. All you have to do is text JOBS to 56937. Up next on your news at noon, we're headed to the hardwood. The Texas A&M Corpus Christi men's basketball team is going to hit the court this weekend. Who they'll be playing and where? That's next. And for our KZTV viewers, thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching us on Chris 6, a whole nother half hour of news coming your way. Stay with us.
From Chris TV, this is Chris 6 News at noon.
And a good Friday afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Paul Mueller. Right off the top this noon, one man is dead. The search is on for his killer. And that has Corpus Christi police investigating the city's second homicide of the year. Take a look at the map here, happening around 11:30 last night in the 1000 block of Mestina. That is near the Nueces County Courthouse. Police say when they arrived, they found a man shot in the back. He later died at the hospital. Investigators say surveillance video shows the alleged shooter driving a white crossover vehicle, possibly a Cadillac. If you have any information on the shooting, you're urged to call investigators. The number 886-2600. Police also investigating another shooting that sent one man to the hospital, another one behind bars, happening Thursday night at around 9 at the Allure Apartments on Everhart near Saratoga. Police telling us the two were arguing when one of them pulled out a gun and just opened fire. At last check, the unidentified victim in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The shooter now locked up, facing aggravated assault with a deadly weapons charge. Cause for concern, that's what's happening after what you might call a new addition popping up on the beach in Port Aransas. Some environmentalists and people who live there left scratching their heads. Our Greg Chandler is live in Port A. And Greg, so what's the problem out there?
Well, Paul, it's these three crosses behind me that have people here concerned. And it's important to note it's not the symbolism of the crosses that have raised these concerns. It's the fact that they've been planted in protected dunes. Now, these crosses were put up in the night on December 18th. They were put here by a group in town for an event called the Trump Beach Party. Now, it's against Texas General Land Office rules to build anything on a public beach without a permit. There's only one problem. This part of the beach, especially up in the dunes, is not public. The dune part is owned by the Palmilla Beach Resort. I spoke with one of the managers there. He said that the crosses would come down to comply with GLO and City of Port Aransas regulations. However, he did add that the resort would not be seeking any kind of legal remedy against the people who put the crosses here. I also spoke with Nueces County Coastal Parks Director Scott Cross. This part of the beach isn't his jurisdiction, but he's concerned because these crosses could serve as an artificial perch for predatory birds hunting smaller birds up and down this beach, kind of like plovers, which winter here when it's warmer. I'll have more coming up tonight at 5 and 6, but for now, reporting live in Port Aransas, Greg Chandler, Chris 6 News. Paul?
Investigation continues there. All right, Greg, thank you so much. Right now, Governor Greg Abbott vowing to fight the Biden administration's plan to impose new limits on oil and gas exploration. Now, while visiting Midland on Thursday, the governor spoke with leaders in the energy industry. He also signed an executive order against what he described as overreach by the Biden administration. The order directs all state agencies to challenge any federal action that threatens the Texas energy industry.
Texas is not going to stand idly by and watch the Biden administration kill jobs in Midland, in Odessa, or any other place across the entire region.
Governor Abbott went on to say Biden's actions could jeopardize hundreds of thousands of Texas jobs and potentially take away billions of dollars from our state's economy. New at noon, Beto O'Rourke says he's considering a run for Texas governor in 2022. Our Austin affiliate reporting O'Rourke made the announcement while appearing on a radio show Thursday. Now, you might remember incumbent Ted Cruz defeated O'Rourke for Texas senator back in 2018. The Democrat also ran and lost for president in 2020. All right, time now for another quick check of your weather. Meteorologist Juan Acuna live in studio. And Juan, a little chilly today as we have been talking about this roller coaster really all week long.
Yeah, we're going to continue going up and down. And you know what? We're on the upswing right now with temperatures going back up into the 60s and 70s this afternoon. We're also getting a little bit more of that cloud coverage across the region as well. Just some fair weather cumulus across the region. It's a live look over in Cal Allen where temperatures are holding on to the lower 70s and a light southeasterly wind only about 8 miles an hour. But that is expected to increase as we head later on into the afternoon and evening hours as well. More cloud coverage off to the west, and as I mentioned, I think a lot of this will fill in later on tonight, but temperatures up north are in the 40s and 50s. We'll look for the lower 70s for the afternoon high, about 72 here in Corpus Christi. Of course, it'll be milder, a little bit breezy later on, and more humid tonight as we only go to an overnight low of 60 degrees. But if 70 is not warm enough for you, we warm up even further for tomorrow for the start of the weekend. Details coming up in just a bit. Paul?
Fighting COVID-19 one vaccination at a time. Right now, another mega vaccination event underway over the Richard Borchard Fairgrounds in Robstown, where thousands of doses of the Moderna vaccine are being given out. Our Victoria Balderrama live there now. And this morning on Sunrise, we saw a parking lot packed full of people just waiting to roll up their sleeves. How is it right now, Victoria?
Good afternoon, Paul. Well, this morning the line was much shorter than compared to Tuesday. It was ending on Texas Yes Boulevard. But right now, traffic control is looking a little bit different. There are 3 lines going on right now. The first line is for those getting their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccination. The second line is for those returning to get their second dose. And the third line is for people here for an event at the fairgrounds. But if you want to look behind me, this is a single line for those getting their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccination. It looks different in the building next to us where people are getting their first dose. There are 2 lines there, but once people get their vaccination shot here, they are asked to go outside and wait 15 to 30 minutes, and there are 2 different designated areas. One area is for people that just got their first dose, and the second area is for those who got their second dose.
They're not in the line with the first doses. They have their own line, and because the 500 doses are for them specifically.
And second dose patients are asked to enter through Terry Shamsi. We have a map showing those 2 entrances on our website, kristv.com. For now, live in Robstown, Victoria Valderrama, Chris 6 News.
Victoria, we turn now to the latest COVID-19 numbers from Nueces County. Take a look here. The health district reporting 6 more COVID-19 related deaths, including 3 men, 3 women, ranging in age from 50 to 80. 640 people have now died in the county since the pandemic began. Officials also reporting another triple-digit jump, 204 new cases on Thursday, pushing the COVID case count to nearly 35,000 in the county. We're also keeping track of the latest coronavirus cases throughout the coastal bend. For a look at the numbers in your area, all you have to do is visit our website, kristv.com. The first case of the South African variant of COVID-19 now confirmed here in the U.S., and this new strain believed to be more contagious and possibly more dangerous. Our Craig Melvin picks up the story from there.
It's been hailed as a potential game changer in the fight against COVID-19. A single shot from Johnson & Johnson. This morning, the company revealing its phase 3 trial in the U.S. found the vaccine is 72% effective in preventing moderate to severe symptoms 4 weeks after vaccination, adding protection starts as early as 2 weeks after receiving the shot.
It either stops you from getting COVID or it helps you, if you get COVID, have a much milder version of COVID.
The former Giant saying it will file for emergency use authorization in the coming week, which could mean approval by the end of February. If it's greenlit by the FDA, it would be the first single-dose COVID vaccine on the market.
This vaccine is going to be important for people who either don't want to get a second shot, can't come back for the second shot, or live in rural and remote areas where it's difficult to get the vaccine to them.
However, the vaccine was found to be just 57% effective when tested in South Africa. That's where a new highly contagious variant made up nearly all cases. That concerning mutation is now on U.S. soil. 2 cases have been identified here in South Carolina. The patients reporting no history of travel or connection to one another. Officials in the state urging everyone to be on alert.
The arrival of COVID-19, of any COVID-19 variant in South Carolina, including this one, is yet another reminder that the fight against this deadly virus is far from over.
Health officials say it is highly likely that the new strain from South Africa isn't just present here in South Carolina. It's likely present in other parts of the country. Health officials say more genomic testing will be needed to determine its prevalence. Meanwhile, Johnson & Johnson optimistic that if they get emergency use authorization, they'll be able to start getting their vaccine out by the end of February.
All right, Craig Melvin reporting. Craig, thank you. Still to come at noon. Talk about true love, how a wife gave her husband, or is about to give her husband, the gift of life. We're going to explain that coming up.
Chris 6 News at noon continues.
Talk about true love here. An Aransas Pass woman giving her husband a gift that's expected to save his life. Now, according to Dr. Sid Villarreal's kidneys are failing and he'll need a kidney transplant in order to live. Last month, tests revealing his wife Naomi is a perfect match. So she's decided to donate one of her kidneys. The procedure is scheduled for February 12th in San Antonio, and that is just one day after the couple's wedding anniversary.
I'm looking forward to the next day after surgery to actually be able to walk into his room and see him.
I told her the bed had wheels. I'll figure out something.
The bed has wheels. Well, there's a GoFundMe page, as you see right there, set up to raise money to help the couple pay for medical bills. Also a benefit for them on Wednesday. If you'd like to help out, we have the information you need to know on our website, christv.com. The Texas A&M Corpus Christi men's basketball team taking on Houston Baptist this weekend. They're going to face each other Saturday over at the American Bank Center. Tip-off, 3:30. Doors will open 1 hour later. Tickets starting at $11 are on sale right now. Well, tax day, yes, hard to believe it's almost around the corner with all the changes this year due to the pandemic. The question, are you prepared? We've got an expert standing by with the answers. More when we come back.
Chris 6 News at noon continues.
Welcome back, everyone. We have some high clouds or mid-level clouds that are moving into the region, but it's still a gorgeous day out there. That's a live look in the background of downtown Corpus Christi. Notice that the bays are still a little bit smooth out there, and the winds will be increasing later on today. Right now, they're coming out of the southeast anywhere between 6 to 12 miles an hour, and by tonight, I anticipate those to go to at least 15, so a bit of a breezy night in store. But that also means with the southeasterly wind that the humidity will start to increase as well, and it won't be quite as cool as this morning or the previous morning as well. We're going to be trading those 40s and 50s more like to the 60s as we head on into tomorrow morning. And if the 70s are not warm enough for you, well, as we head on into Saturday ahead of our next frontal boundary, we are going to see those temperatures rebound to very warm levels. In fact, I think most of us will see 80-degree temperatures by tomorrow afternoon and a whole lot more wind as well. They'll be sustained out of the southeast around 15 to 25. I'll show you that in just a bit. But unfortunately, even as we have a couple of boundaries, cold fronts headed our way, no meaningful rainfall continues to be in the forecast as we are pretty dry across the area. In fact, we're already below normal for this time of year with a little bit of rain that we've received earlier this month. Again, lots of 70s on the map, 71 here, 70 off in Beeville, but a couple of 67s from Rockport down to the Naval Air Station and Robstown. You're holding on to 74 degrees as well. And most of us already seeing that southeasterly component to the wind and only going to about 6 to 12 miles an hour. So as we look at the hourly forecast for the rest of today, we'll top out at about 72 here in the city, but watch what happens as we go to about 7, 9 towards 10 o'clock. Those temperatures get in the lower 60s, and they don't go any further than that. That's because the wind will be increasing. We'll have some cloud coverage come back into the area as well, and we may actually struggle to get to that forecast low of 60 degrees if the wind does stay a little bit elevated. So let's look at that as we go to about 10 o'clock. A little bit breezy along the coastline, 10 to 15 across a good portion of the area, but then as we wake up on Saturday morning, a bit breezy near the coastline. Boaters and mariners do use caution, and some of those will be gusting at around 20 to 25 miles an hour. And then on into the afternoon, everyone participating in those winds about 15 to 25. It's about this time where I wouldn't be surprised if we see some gusts closer to 30 to 35 miles an hour. And then on Sunday morning at about 7 o'clock, notice we already have a northerly wind coming into the area, and only going to about 5 to 10 miles per hour with the actual front that came through. But then on into the afternoon, that's when the winds will begin to pick up once again and go to about 10 to 20 miles an hour across the region. So all across the United States, our next storm system is over into the western portion of our viewing area, and the cold temperatures are bottled up to the north for this time, and there comes the upper level disturbance associated with that going right there. And once it goes on by, high pressure takes over, and it'll be fantastic as we go into next week before the next upper level storm system arrives as we head towards the middle and end of the week. So the 7-day forecast looks like this. If I can get it to come up for you, there it is. 81 on Saturday, 75 on Sunday, a cool 68 Monday, and then we warm it up again by Wednesday and Thursday. Paul.
Just glad it's Friday. Juan, thank you so much. Well, tax season, it's almost